Okay, welcome in one and all. I'm now going to be reviewing all of Tuesday night's action in the NHL, starting with the teams you see on your screen between the New York Islanders and the New Jersey Devils. The Devils would prevail in this matchup in a fairly high scoring affair, if I'm going to be honest with you. 5-4 would be the final score. Bo Horvat would kick things off with a power play goal, 5 minutes and 16 seconds into the first, his sixth goal of the season from Dobson and Barzal. McLeod would tie the games up with 10 minutes and 29 seconds into that frame, getting his fourth goal of the season, assisted by Lazar, and that was an even strength goal. So it was all tied up at 1 heading into the second period. Mercer would then give the Devils a 2-1 lead, getting his fifth goal of the season from Jack Hughes and Tyler Toffoli, 4 minutes and 19 seconds into that second frame, an even strength goal at that. Barzal would then tie things up with an even strength goal as well, his sixth goal of the season from Lee and Dobson, and that goal would happen at the 8 minute and 24-second mark of that frame. Cal Clutterbuck would give the Islanders a 3-2 lead, getting his third goal of the season from Cizikas and Gauthier at the 9 minute and 40-second mark of that frame. And Pajot would then increase the lead to 4-2 with just under 7 minutes to go in that period, getting his first goal of the season, an even strength goal from Barzal and Romanov. So it was 4-2 in favor of the Islanders heading into the third period. Jack Hughes would give the Devils their third goal of the game, his seventh of the season from Mercer and Smith, 5 minutes and 8 seconds into that frame, an even strength goal. He sure would then tie the game up 11 minutes and 10 seconds into that frame, so just under 9 minutes to go on a power play. His fourth goal of the season, assisted by both the Hughes brothers. And then Lazar would then get the game-winning goal with just 23 seconds to go. So obviously, if he didn't score, the game most likely would have went into overtime. His fourth goal of the season from Ball and McLeod, and that is where we would stand at the end of this match. With the victory, the Devils are now one game above 500, sitting at 10-9-1. And with the loss, the Islanders are sitting at 8-7-6. Our next matchup takes place in Toronto, where we have two teams from the Atlantic duking it out for 2 points. So I'll just scroll down. I should have the team's logos on the screen momentarily. So it was a low-scoring affair. 2-1 would be the final score in this one, with a little bit of controversy. Let's take a look and see who scored the two regulation goals. It would take it till a shootout to decide a winner in this matchup. So in the first, Stenlin would get the Panthers on the board, his sixth goal of the season from Gadjovich and Ekblad, and that goal would happen with about 4.5 minutes to go in the period. In the second, Gregor would tie things up around just over 7 minutes remaining in that period. His third goal of the season. There were no assists on his score. Now, so it would take until no goals would be scored in overtime. It would take until a shootout to decide a winner. It looked like the Florida Panthers were going to get the victory in this one, as Evan Rodriguez did get a goal, but because he double tapped his stick, they immediately waved it off. They had to go under review because it happened so fast. Pretty much what it is if you shoot the puck and it bounces off the goalie pad and it hits your stick again and bounces in the net, it's disallowed. You're only allowed to touch the puck once, and that's to shoot the puck towards the net. Now, obviously, it was it happened so fast that you really have to slow it down or pause it at the right moment to see the highlight, and you have to actually look at the above camera that was looking down on the goalie in order to see exactly what happened. So they took the goal away. The Panthers looked like they were going to win, and then Gregor would then get the shootout winner for the Maple Leafs. So with the victory, the Leafs are now improved to 11-6-3, and even though the Panthers lost, they're still sitting in second place in that Atlantic Division, 13-7-3. Our next matchup takes place in Philadelphia, where we have the host team Flyers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. So two teams from the Metropolitan Division. The final score on this one would be 4-1 in favor of the Hurricanes. Bunting would get his fifth goal of the season from Aho and Orlov, 5 minutes and 39 seconds into that first period, an even strength goal. In the second, Konechny would tie things up 7 minutes and 14 seconds into that frame, getting his 12th goal of the season, assisted by Forster. Lemieux would then give the Carolina Hurricanes a 2-1 lead, getting a second goal of that frame. with just under 6 minutes to go, just under 7 minutes to go in that frame, but 6.5 to go in that period. In the third period, Jarvis would then increase the lead to 3-1, getting his ninth goal of the season from Aho and Bunting, and that goal would happen with roughly 3.5 minutes to go in the period. And then Kotkaniemi would score 45 seconds after that, getting his eighth goal of the season from Fast and Teravainen. So 4-1 would be the final score in favor of the away team. With the victory, the Hurricanes have now improved to 13-8-0, and the Flyers are 11-10-1. Our next matchup takes place in the Central Division, where we have the Minnesota Wild, who are now have their new boss behind the bench, taking on the St. Louis Blues. So with their new coach, they would get their first win under their new coach's name, and I really wish I had done my homework, so I apologize for not getting that into it. Eriksson Ek would kick things off in the first 2 minutes and 41 seconds into that frame, getting his 11th goal of the season from Zuccarello and Spurgeon, an even strength goal. Parayko would then tie things up, getting his fourth goal of the season, 10.5 minutes into that frame, assisted by Blaze and Torpachenko. Gaudreau would then give the Wild a 2-1 lead, with just about 1 minute and 50 seconds to go in that frame, assisted by Maroon and Foligno. There were no goals scored in the seconds. You had to jump all the way to the third. And with just under 3 minutes to go in that frame, Boldy would then increase the lead to 3-1, getting his second goal of the season, assisted by Broden. And that would be an even strength goal as well. So with the victory, Minnesota are now sitting at 6-10-4. And with the loss, the Blues 11-9-1. Our next matchup takes place in the state of Tennessee, where we have the Nashville Predators, and they're taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. It would take until overtime to decide a winner in this one, so therefore both teams were guaranteed a point. Nashville would get the extra points, and I will tell you who scored the game-winning goal in just a matter of moments. So McCarron would kick things off 10 minutes and 20 seconds into the first, getting his second goal of the season, assisted by Barry and Nyquist, an even-strength goal. McCarron would then get his second goal of the game, his third of the season, assisted by Tomasino and Forsberg, and that goal would happen with roughly 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in that frame. Evgeny Malkin would get the Penguins on the board in the second period, 5 minutes and 49 seconds into that frame, his 10th goal of the season, assisted by Riley Smith, and he jumped all the way to the third. Brian Rush would then tie things up, getting his 10th goal of the year, assisted by Ludwig and Gensel, 2 minutes and 26 seconds, into that third and final frame, and that would be an even strength goal. So in the overtime frame, Philip Forsberg would get the game-winning goal just 14 seconds into that frame, getting his 12th goal of the season from Yossi and O'Reilly, and that was also an even strength tally. So with the victory, the Predators are now finally above 500 for the first time this season, 11-10-1, and with the loss, the Penguins are 10-10-1. Our next matchup takes place in the Central Division, where we have the host Winnipeg Jets, and they're taking on the Dallas Stars. All right, so yet again, another low-scoring affair, just 2 goals in the entire game, and they were in favor of the away team. There were no goals scored in the first, so you have to jump to the second period. Joe Pavelski, the guy is getting older, but he seems to always play consistently year after year. Getting his 10th goal of the season, hitting the double-digit mark, getting an assist from Hintz and Robertson, and that goal would happen with just over 7 minutes to go in that second frame, an even-strength goal. And then you have to jump into the third period, where Tyler Seguin would then increase the lead to 2-0, getting his 7th goal of the season, assisted by Marchment and Matt Duchene. And that goal would happen with roughly 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the game. So with the victory, the Stars have now improved to 13-5-2, and despite the fact the Jets lost, they're still, I believe, third in that division, 12-7-2 is where they sit at the end of this match. All right, our next matchup should take place in Chicago, where we have the host team Blackhawks, and they were taking on the Seattle Kraken. So we should see the teams appear on the screen right away. So a bit of an upset, if I'm going to be honest with you. The Blackhawks would prevail, getting the victory in this matchup. 4-3 would be the final score. Kachuk would kick things off in the first, getting his second goal of the game, roughly 9 minutes into that first, assisted by Donato and Seth Jones. Dickinson would then get his seventh goal of the season from Phillips and Anderson, and that goal would happen just over halfway through that period. Matt Beniers would then give the Kraken their first goal of the game, getting his fourth goal of the season, assisted by Jared McCann. And Andrew Wenberg would then tie things up with a short-handed goal with just under 40 seconds to go in that frame, assisted by Larson and Grubauer. So it was all tied up at 2 heading into the second period. Tyler Johnson would give the Blackhawks a 3-2 lead, getting his sixth goal of the season from Radish and Reichel, 4 minutes and 22 seconds into that frame. And Twistle, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, with an increased lead to 4-2, his second goal of the season from Joey Anderson, and that goal would happen with just over 9 minutes to go in that frame. You have to jump to the third period where Cardle would get his fourth goal of the season for the Kraken, assisted by Beniers, and that goal would happen with roughly over 13 minutes to go in the frame. And for the Kraken, unfortunately, they were not able to find the back of the net for the rest of that game. So with the victory, the Blackhawks are now sitting at 7-13-0, and with the loss, the Kraken are now 2 games below 500, sitting at 8-10-5. Our next matchup takes place in Arizona, where we have the host Coyotes, and they were taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning. So a bit of an upset in this one, to say the least. The Coyotes would prevail over the Lightning. 3-1 would be the final score. Carcone would kick things off in the first, just 3 minutes and 21 seconds into the frame, getting his 8th goal of the season from Kesserling and Kerfoot. 3 minutes and 21 seconds into that frame, an even strength goal. In the second period, Tyler Boyd would get his first goal of the season, assisted by Josh Brown and Charlie Ingram. 5 minutes and 42 seconds into that second frame, an even strength goal. Braden Point would finally get the Lightning on the board, getting his 12th goal of the season from Kucherov and Hagel, with just under 5 minutes remaining in that second frame. And then you have to jump to the third period, where Carcone will get his second goal of the game, his 9th of the season, assisted by Kerfoot and Jason Zucker. So with the victory, the Arizona Coyotes are sitting at 10-9-2. And despite the loss, the Lightning are still 2 games above 500, sitting at 10-8-5. All right, our next matchup takes place in the province of Alberta, where we have the host Edmonton Oilers, and they're taking on the Pacific leading Vegas Golden Knights. So this would be a wild game, kind of went back and forth. Looked like one team was going to win in regulation, the other team would mount a comeback, and then the first team would ultimately prevail in a shootout. So I'll go over the goal scoring summary. So Sam Gagner would get his 3rd goal of the season, assisted by Hamblin, with just under 7 minutes remaining in that frame, an even strength goal. So it was 1-0 for the Oilers heading into the second period. Mark Stone would get his 6th goal of the season, tying things up just 1 minute and 11 seconds into the second period, assisted by Korczak and Jack Eichel, an even strength goal at that. Matthias Janmark would get his 1st goal of the season, finally, assisted by Ekholm and McDavid, with just over 5 minutes into that frame. Amadio would then tie things up at 2, getting his 4th goal of the season, assisted by Nick Roy, and that goal would happen literally 50 seconds after Jarnkrok potted the back of the net. Connor McDavid would give the Oilers a 3-2 lead, getting his 8th goal of the season, assisted by Cody Ceci, with just about 12 minutes into that frame to go. And Evander Kane would get a power play goal, his 11th of the season, from Bouchard and McDavid, and that goal would happen with roughly 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in that second period. So it was 4-2 in favor of the Oilers heading into the third period. Ben Hutton would get his 1st goal of the season for the Vegas Golden Knights, decreasing the lead to 4-3, an even strength goal from Cotter and Amadio. And then Kolster would then score with 2 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the game, getting his 1st goal of the season from White Cloud and Nick Roy. There were no goals in the overtime to speak of. It's safe to jump all the way to the shootout, where Connor McDavid, big surprise, would get the game-winning goal. So with the victory, the Oilers are sitting at 8-12-1. And despite the loss, like I said, the Vegas Golden Knights are still in first place in that Pacific Division, 14-5-4. And the last matchup takes place in the next province over, where we have the host Vancouver Canucks, and they were taking on the Anaheim Ducks. Canucks and Ducks. Okay. So 3-1 would be the final score in this one in favor of the home team. Besser would kick things off in the first 6 minutes and 34 seconds into the frame, getting his 16th goal of the season from Hronek and JT Miller, an even strength goal. Ryan Strome would tie things up in the second 5 minutes and 10 seconds into that frame, getting his third goal of the season from Adam Henrique and Vaterno. In the third period, Elias Pettersson would get the go-ahead goal just 32 seconds into that frame, getting his 9th goal of the season from Tyler Myers and Mikheyev. And then Besser would get a power play goal late in the game, just under 50 seconds to go, assisted by JT Miller. So 3-1 is where we sit at the end of the match. With the victory, the Canucks are sitting at 15-7-1. And with the loss, the Ducks have now dropped 4 games below 500, sitting at 9-13-0. That should take care of my recap for Tuesday night. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, I do videos on the daily. Please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative as well. And as always, take care.